Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious questions in all of folklore. What if the monsters were real? We often think of mythical creatures as products of pure imagination, beasts conjured from the darkness to explain the unexplainable. Dragons, krakens, cyclopes, these are the stuff of storybooks, right? They're tales told around campfires, relics of a superstitious past when the world was a much larger, more frightening place. We've mapped the globe, plumbed the depths of the ocean, and sequenced the DNA of life itself. Surely, in our modern, scientific age, there's no room left for monsters. But what if I told you that some of these legends aren't just legends? That buried in the lines of ancient texts and whispered in folklore are the echoes of something real. The line between myth and reality is often blurrier than we think. History is filled with accounts of bizarre creatures, described with such conviction and detail that it's hard to dismiss them as mere fantasy. These aren't just vague campfire stories. They are sometimes detailed in historical records, drawn on ancient maps, and even described by seasoned sailors and naturalists. Could it be that our ancestors weren't just making things up, but they have been describing real animals, now lost to time or driven to extinction? Today, we're peeling back the veil of myth to investigate 10 legendary creatures that might have a surprising basis in reality. Look at the ancient accounts, examine the scientific evidence, and explore the tantalizing possibility that some of the world's most famous monsters once walked, swam, or flew across our planet. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about the mythical world. Number 10. The Kraken asterisk. The legend of the Kraken strikes fear into the heart of any sailor. Ancient texts, particularly the 13th century Old Norse saga, Urvarod's saga asterisk, describe a sea monster of colossal size, capable of pulling entire ships down to the icy depths. It was said to be the size of a floating island, its powerful tentacles creating deadly whirlpools as it submerged. For centuries, sailors from Norway to Greenland told tales of this beast, a creature so vast it could be mistaken for land. The Scandinavian naturalist Erik Pontoppidan, in his asterisk Natural History of Norway from 1755, gave a detailed account, describing it as round, flat, and full of arms or branches. He claimed that if the creature grabbed the largest man-o-war, it would pull it down to the bottom of the ocean. These weren't just tall tales told by drunken sailors. They were recorded as fact by respected scholars of the time. But what could have inspired such a terrifying and persistent legend? The evidence suggests the Kraken was very real, just not a ship-sinking island-sized behemoth. Scientists believe the legend was born from sightings of a real-life deep-sea dweller, the giant squid, Architeuthis dux asterisk. For centuries, the giant squid was considered a myth itself. It lives at depths of up to 1,000 meters, and it wasn't until 1857 that a specimen was scientifically documented. These creatures can grow to astonishing sizes. Females can reach up to 13 meters, 43 feet long. Imagine being a sailor in a relatively small wooden vessel and seeing a creature of that size surface, its massive eyes staring back at you. It's easy to see how the legend was born. We now have footage of giant squid in their natural habitat, and occasionally, their massive carcasses wash ashore, confirming their existence beyond a doubt. While they probably aren't sinking entire naval fleets, their size and mysterious nature are a perfect match for the legendary Kraken. Number 9. The griffin. Let's travel from the depths of the sea to the sun-scorched deserts of Central Asia. Ancient texts describe the griffin, a majestic creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, and the head, wings, and talons of an eagle. It was known as the king of beasts and birds, a symbol of divine power, and a guardian of priceless treasures. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote about them in the 5th century BC, claiming they lived in the mountains of Scythia, where they guarded vast deposits of gold from a one-eyed people called the Arimaspians. The legend was incredibly widespread, appearing in the art and mythology of ancient Greece, Persia, and Egypt. So, where did this very specific, very strange hybrid creature come from? For a long time, it was assumed to be pure fantasy. But what if the people telling these stories were describing something they had actually seen? Adrienne Mayer, a classical folklorist and historian of science, has presented a fascinating theory. She argues that the legend of the griffin originated with ancient gold miners in the Gobi Desert. These miners, prospecting for gold, would have stumbled upon the fossilized remains of a dinosaur. Asterisk Protoceratops. Think about it. The asterisk Protoceratops asterisk was a four-legged dinosaur, about the size of a lion. It had a large parrot-like beak, a bony frill at the back of its skull that could have been interpreted as ears or wings, and its skeletons were often found in nests, suggesting it guarded its eggs, or, to an ancient prospector, its treasure. The Gobi Desert is rich with these fossils, often beautifully preserved and exposed by the wind. To someone with no concept of dinosaurs or extinction, a asterisk Protoceratops asterisk skeleton would have looked exactly like the remains of a griffin. Number 8. The Cyclops. The Cyclops is one of the most iconic monsters from Greek mythology, most famously encountered by Odysseus on his journey home. These were giants, with a single, massive eye in the middle of their forehead. They were described as brutish, lawless shepherds who lived in caves. The story of Odysseus blinding the Cyclops Polyphemus is a cornerstone of Western literature. But could there be a grain of truth to this bizarre anatomy? The answer, incredibly, might lie in fossils. The islands of the Mediterranean, like Crete and Sicily, are home to the fossilized remains of an extinct species of dwarf elephant. These elephants, from the genus Paleoxodon**, were much smaller than their mainland relatives, but their skulls are still quite large. And what is the most prominent feature of an elephant skull? Massive, central nasal cavity, right in the middle of the forehead, where the trunk would attach. To an ancient Greek who had never seen an elephant and had no knowledge of paleontological reconstruction, this large, single hole would have looked exactly like a single eye socket. The rest of the skull, being large and robust, would have suggested a giant. It's a compelling theory that turns a mythological monster into a fascinating case of prehistoric misinterpretation. The legend of the one-eyed giant may not have been an invention, but an attempt to explain the strange, one-holed skulls weathering out of the Mediterranean hillsides. Number 7. Dragons. Dragons are perhaps the most universal of all mythical creatures, appearing in the legends of cultures from China to Wales. In Europe, they were often depicted as malevolent, fire-breathing, winged reptiles that hoarded treasure and demanded sacrifices. In Asia, they were typically benevolent, serpentine creatures associated with water and good fortune. But they all share a common thread. They are large, powerful reptiles. Could there be a real-world animal behind these global myths? There are several compelling candidates. For one, the fossil record is filled with giant reptiles. The discovery of dinosaur bones by ancient cultures could certainly have fueled stories of giant lizards. Imagine unearthing the skull of a Tyrannosaurus rex. Without context, dragon is a pretty reasonable conclusion. Another possibility is the Nile crocodile, a massive and terrifying predator that can grow up to 20 feet long and is known to be incredibly aggressive. Some historians also point to the Komodo dragon, a real-life giant lizard from Indonesia that can reach 10 feet in length and has a venomous bite. Or consider the goanna, a large monitor lizard in Australia, which features prominently in Aboriginal creation stories as a dragon-like creator being. The bones of an even larger extinct monitor lizard, Megalania**, have been found in Australia. This creature was a true monster, estimated to be around 23 feet long, making it the largest terrestrial lizard ever known. Early humans would have coexisted with Megalania**, and an encounter with a predator that size would undoubtedly have left a lasting impression, passed down through generations as stories of dragons. Number 6. The roc**. The roc is a gargantuan bird of prey from Middle Eastern mythology, made famous in the stories of Sinbad, the sailor from 1001 Nights**. According to the Tales, the roc was so enormous that it could carry off an elephant in its talons. It was said to make its nest on a remote mountain top, and its eggs were the size of buildings. For centuries, explorers, including Marco Polo, reported hearing stories of this incredible bird during their travels. While a bird that can hunt elephants is clearly an exaggeration, the legend of the roc is almost certainly based on a real, and now extinct, creature, the elephant bird of Madagascar. The elephant bird Epiornis maximus was a colossal, flightless bird that stood nearly 10 feet tall and weighed over half a ton. It was the heaviest bird known to have ever existed. While it couldn't fly, its sheer size was legendary. More importantly, it laid the largest eggs of any known animal, up to a foot long with a liquid content of about 2 gallons, the equivalent of about 160 chicken eggs. Fragments of these massive eggs are still found in Madagascar today. It's believed that early Arab traders visiting the island would have seen these birds, or at least their gigantic eggs, and their tails would have grown with each telling, transforming a giant flightless bird into a mythical flying predator capable of carrying off the largest land animals. Number 5. The chupacabra. Let's jump to a more modern myth. The legend of the chupacabra, or goatsucker, first emerged in Puerto Rico in the 1990s. Eyewitnesses described a creature about 4 to 5 feet tall, with powerful legs for leaping, long claws, and menacing, glowing red eyes. Its most terrifying feature was its alleged habit of attacking livestock, particularly goats, and draining them of their blood, leaving behind only a few small puncture wounds. The sightings spread throughout Latin America and into the southern United States. But what do we find when we examine the actual evidence? In almost every case where a chupacabra carcass has been recovered, DNA analysis has revealed it to be a known animal. The culprit is almost always a canid, a coyote, dog, or fox, suffering from an extreme case of sarcoptic mange. This is a skin disease caused by mites that results in severe hair loss, thickened, wrinkled skin, and a generally grotesque, emaciated appearance. Coyote with advanced mange looks nothing like a healthy one. It appears alien and monstrous. These animals are also weakened by their condition, making them more likely to attack easy prey like goats and chickens instead of their usual, more difficult wild prey. Blood-sucking aspect is likely a misinterpretation. Predators often bite the neck of their prey, and the resulting puncture wounds can lead to significant blood loss, which might not be immediately obvious, giving the impression the blood was drained. So the chupacabra isn't a new species of monster, but rather a tragic and misunderstood case of a common animal afflicted with a terrible disease. Number 4. Mongolian death worm deep in the Gobi Desert. Legends speak of a terrifying creature called the Algoi korkai asterisk, or the Mongolian death worm. It's described as a thick, bright red worm-like creature, about 2 to 5 feet long. According to local folklore, this creature is incredibly deadly. It is said to be able to spew a corrosive yellow acid that causes instant death, and it can also allegedly kill from a distance by discharging a powerful electrical shock. It supposedly lives beneath the sands of the desert, emerging during the hottest months of the year. Western explorers first heard of the tales in the early 20th century, and numerous expeditions have since been launched to find it, but without success. Is this creature pure fiction? It's hard to say for sure. Skeptics suggest the legend could be based on a type of amphisbaenian, or worm lizard, a group of burrowing reptiles that have a snake-like appearance. Some species have a blunt tail that resembles a head, which could lead to confusion and fear. As for its deadly powers, these are likely exaggerations. The ability to spit corrosive acid or generate electricity is highly improbable for a creature of this description. However, it's possible the legend is based on a species of sand boa or another burrowing snake, perhaps a venomous one. A bite from a venomous snake could cause rapid tissue necrosis, which might be interpreted as being burned by acid. The Gobi is a vast and unforgiving place, and it's not impossible that an unknown species of reptile awaits discovery. But for now, the death worm remains firmly in the realm of cryptozoology. Number 3. Sea serpents. For as long as humans have sailed the seas, they have told stories of sea serpents. From the Leviathan asterisk of the Old Testament to the detailed sightings recorded in the logbooks of 19th century naval officers, accounts of giant, snake-like creatures gliding through the waves are a constant theme in maritime history. One of the most famous accounts comes from 1848, when the crew of the HMS Daedalus reported seeing a 60-foot-long creature with a horse-like mane swimming past their ship. The captain and several officers filed official reports, sketching what they saw. So what were all these sailors seeing? There isn't one single answer, but rather a collection of plausible misidentifications. One leading theory is the oarfish, the world's longest bony fish. Oarfish can grow up to 36 feet long, are thin and ribbon-like, and have a prominent red dorsal fin that could look like a mane. They're deep-water fish and are rarely seen, but when they are sick or dying, they sometimes come to the surface, where their unusual appearance could easily be mistaken for a monster. Another possibility is a group of large animals swimming in a line, such as dolphins or seals, which from a distance could create the illusion of a single, undulating body. Even large mats of seaweed or a floating log could trick the eye on a foggy day. While it's unlikely a species of giant marine reptile survived from the age of dinosaurs, the world's oceans are vast and largely unexplored. You're still discovering new species of whales and other large marine life, so we can't completely rule out the possibility of something unknown lurking in the depths. Number 2. Mokalembembe. In the vast, dense rainforests of the Congo River Basin, local legends tell of a creature called the Mokalembembe, which translates to one who stops the flow of rivers. It is described as being the size of an elephant, with a long neck and a small head, a reptilian tail, and a brownish-gray color. It is said to be herbivorous but highly aggressive, known to attack hippos and even humans who venture too close to its territory. The description is strikingly similar to that of a sauropod dinosaur, like a diplodocus. Numerous expeditions have been mounted since the early 20th century to find this creature. While some explorers have returned with tantalizing second-hand accounts and plaster casts of large, three-toed footprints, no definitive proof, no body, no bones, no clear photograph, has ever been found. Scientists are highly skeptical, pointing out that a population of large animals like sauropods would require a significant breeding population to survive, and would likely have been discovered by now. They suggest that the sightings could be misidentifications of known animals like elephants seen swimming in the water, or perhaps a local folk memory of a creature that has long since gone extinct. The Congo is one of the last truly unexplored places on Earth, a massive, remote wilderness. Is it possible that a relict population of dinosaurs survived here? It's an incredibly exciting thought, but without concrete evidence, the Mokalembembe remains a legend, a powerful symbol of the wild, untamed corners of our world. Number 1. The Gigantopithecus. Finally, let's talk about the creature that might be the real-life basis for some of our most enduring ape-man legends, like the Yeti or Bigfoot. Legends of giant, hairy, bipedal hominids exist all over the world. While many of these tales are modern hoaxes, the idea of a giant ape living alongside early humans is not as far-fetched as it sounds, because we know for a fact that one did. Its name is Gigantopithecus. Fossil evidence, primarily massive teeth and jawbones found in China, Vietnam, and India, tells us about this incredible primate. Gigantopithecus asterisk was the largest ape that ever lived, standing an estimated 10 feet tall and weighing over 1,200 pounds. It was a true giant. It lived from about 2 million years ago until as recently as 100,000 years ago, which means it was absolutely a contemporary of early human species like asterisk Homo erectus asterisk. Our distant ancestors walked the same earth as this colossal ape. Can you imagine the stories they would have told? An encounter with a 10-foot-tall ape would be a terrifying, unforgettable experience, the kind of event that would be passed down through generations, evolving into the myths and legends of giant wild men of the forest. The animal eventually went extinct, likely due to climate change and the disappearance of its primary food source, bamboo. But its memory may have survived, fossilized not in rock, but in our collective stories and folklore. The evidence suggests that the monster was real. We have its bones. So what do you think? Are these just stories or are they